Good morning everybody, and it's afternoon. I've done it again, Jesus Christ. Right. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a video on the T-72. Yes, again. Although, this is not about modifications or if the vehicle is any good or not. This is just a bit of a show of the best game I've had in it so far. So, we are on a desert map, which I cannot remember the name of. Is this El Alamein? I think it's El Alamein. I'm not a fan of desert maps or snow maps, to be honest. I find that the surface, more so as snow maps if I'm honest, badly obstructs your view at long range. But at close range, like 700 meters, like what I'm shooting at that XM1 here, it's not so bad. Now, this was actually quite amusing because this match turned into an XM1 horde. Now, I know that they were very popular when they first went on sale, although I didn't realise that they had become popular again as of the last patch. I haven't seen anywhere near as many of these since they were actually introduced, so to run into 6 of them in this match was quite interesting. Now, I do quite well in this game, which is kind of obvious considering I said this was the best game I've had in this tank so far, although it only unlocked me one research modification. So, I've been sat behind this rock for, I don't know, about 3-4 minutes at this stage. There's my first kill. The first shot I fired was absolutely awful, but that was more to my poor shooting than the tank's fault, if I'm being entirely honest. A second XM1 has just turned up. There's one still up on that hill there, with his hold down position. Take his cannon breach out. Decent shot. There's another one up there. There's 3 on C at the moment, and there's one to the right of me on the other side of this giant rock I'm hiding myself behind. Now, I'm mainly concerned at this stage that that 4th XM1 is going to flank me and shoot me in the back, although thankfully that doesn't end up being an issue, although we do see him later, don't worry about that. So I am the only person here actually engaging these tanks at the moment. I do have a squad mate just to my northwest, although he is not actually engaging these vehicles at the moment as far as I know. Somebody did take out the other XM1, but I've no idea who fired that shot. This match also serves as a good demonstration of how decent the armour on the T-72 is. Once again, backing up my argument that the T-72 has a poor reputation because of the first Iraq War in 1991 in Kuwait. And, well, Kuwait was one of the main battles of the first Iraq War, but I digress. Those tanks were actually Lion of Babylon tanks, or Iraqi-built T-72s. They did also use some export models of the T-72 as well, ones that they've been sent by other former or still remaining at this stage, because this is in 91 when the Soviet Union collapsed, former Warsaw Pact countries, which were better armoured, but they weren't well armoured, to be honest with you. Anyways, the Iraqis tended to use their own tanks more though than anything else. That's why they got sent some of the export models, so that they could copy the design and use it for themselves. The problem was that the Iraqis weren't using very good steel. It was all they had access to. And despite the fact that they were trying to use composite armour, and they were trying to actually make the armour as close as possible to that of the T-72s used in the Warsaw Pact, the Soviet Union and other armies in that area, in Eastern Europe, they didn't quite manage it. They were also trying to fight hull down, firing at long range toward M1A1 Abrams tanks and what would have been Mark 1 Challengers. Not entirely sure which model of Challenger specifically. It might have been Mark 2 Challengers, Mark 3 Challengers, the ones with the ERA. Either way, they were trying to engage tanks with much better armour than themselves at long range, and they didn't have the gunnery skill to do so, effectively at least. As a result, the Iraqis basically did terrible, which is kind of as to be expected really, given the circumstances. And I think that's quite fitting given the fact that I'm on a desert map. I don't know, I found that kind of amusing. So the helicopter tried strafing us and didn't do particularly well. I did get a few hits taken from him. He didn't manage to hit, I didn't manage to hit him though, as far as I can tell. I'm not very good at trying to aim with the 50 caliber guns on tanks, purely because the way my controls are set up, for some weird reason, if I fire my machine guns and I can't move the gun while I'm firing it. I know that sounds really weird, because if I hold the R2 button, which is my main gun firing button, whilst I'm using the machine gun, I can in fact rotate the turret left and right, but I can't elevate it up and down. I don't know why that is. It's never really caused me any problems because, let's be fair, you use your main gun more than you use your machine guns anyway. So I've never really had a problem with it, and I haven't bothered fixing that issue. But it might be something I get around to doing at some stage, but for now, it doesn't really bother me too much. So we have captured the C cap zone for the first time, and are heading north because I know that there was a tank spotted up here. And what do you know, it's another XM1. What he's doing down there, I have absolutely no idea. Although he is a sitting duck once I manage to get my gun down. One shot straight through the side of the turret takes out all of his crew. He is definitely a dead man. Shot comes from my direct 12, not quite sure where it is, but I see the muzzle flash and notice that it's at the top of this mountain, or hill, whichever you want to call it, cliff. I know he's up there. He has taken out my gun breech, however, so I'm hoping that I manage to reload before then. Now, I'm not sure if the sound actually comes through there, but I did actually fire. And me and him must have fired at the exact same time. His round hit first, for whatever reason, and took out my gun breech again. I don't know why that happened. Quite weird, really. If anybody can tell me in the comments, please do let me know. That's not the first time it's happened. It's incredibly frustrating. But it is what it is. So now we're going to head round down south toward the enemy spawn. I'm not going to sit in the spawn because somebody captures or starts capturing the C zone. I realise what they've actually done at this stage is decap the C zone to use it as a sort of a lure to get some of our players to head into the C capture zone and take us off as we approach the cap circle. Or at least that's what I initially expect. As I move up to the cap circle, I'm keeping my eyes constantly on the swivel. I know that they won't be behind me because I haven't seen them come this way. I would have seen them come around me from the left or my 12 if they had done. From the right, admittedly, I wouldn't have seen them, but that's 2/3 of the chance I would have seen them. So I'm hedging my bets that they're definitely not behind me. So my main concern is to my 12 on the hill in front of me and to the cliff edge on my left. I don't spot anything. I have a squad mate here with me in his T-72, so I decide that I'm going to take the risk and head into the cap circle anyway. I am running reasonably low on ammo because this match has been actually pretty decent for me for a change. I have reloaded some shells the first time I captured the C zone, although because I engaged the two XM1s on down in the gully down there and on the cliff, I feel it might be a good idea just to take on a few more rounds of ammunition just in case, which is what I'm doing now. My fellow T-72 driver drives forward to try and head toward their spawn, I believe. I'm constantly looking around me. I'm quite nervous that something is going to sneak up on me, shoot me in the ass, shoot me in the side, but that doesn't happen. My fellow teammate in his T-72 gets taken out by an AD-4 that strafes him with bombs, and we will be seeing him sooner rather than later once again. So now that I've captured the C zone, I'm trying to make my mind up. Do I head north or do I head south? Well, southwest, give or take. I know I want to head more or less toward the enemy spawn. The enemy has definitely lost this match. They're on the back foot at this stage. I don't see the point in sitting in the middle of the map. I want to try and scrape up as many more XP or RP, whichever you prefer to call it, before the end of the match. There's the lovely animation there for the shell casing coming out the back of the turret. The AD-4, I think, is out of ordnance at this stage. I do try and pop a shot off at him. Kind of disappointed that that didn't hit him, but hey ho. So, that was more or less the end of the match. I received 6 kills in that match, 2 capture zone, 2 cap points captured, and an assist. I think I may have got 2 assists, 1 assist, 2 assists. But that was only good enough for 14,000 experience, which is decent. That's actually very good experience-wise, but I only came second. Either way, that was the best match I've had so far. I love this thing. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!